morning, as you would have seen on the vote on Instagram, I've purchased 1 or 2 new models recently, and this one won the vote from you guys as to be the next on the review list. So this is a Dragon Wings Fw190-A4, denoting aircraft Yellow 5, based in the Eastern Front in 1943 in a sort of a summer camouflage scheme of like almost like a sand and a green. So let's get this open and have a look. So here's everything out of the box. Usually with a Dragon Wings you get a small sort of leaflet denoting how you put it together, but I thought what I'd do is lay out all the bits that come with it, because one thing I've often touched upon is the dreaded pingy bits which come with Dragon Wings. So like loads of little extra accessories that aren't already pre-fitted in, like a lot of the corgis. So just to talk through what we get, this is the standard Dragon Wings stand. Obviously not much to look at, very flimsy. You're relying on a very small pin there to sort of allow the aircraft to sit in. So the aircraft doesn't come fitted with its propeller. Propeller comes separate. As you can see, there's a spindle for it to fit on. It comes with a rack underneath to fit onto the aircraft to put the fuel tank on. In this case, it could well be bombs if it's a different variant. Of course, both sets of undercarriage. The undercarriage up is fitted in. As you can see, it's actually sellotaped in, which is good. So one thing I would always criticise Corgi about is that sometimes it's really difficult to get the undercarriage out. You've got your down undercarriage, as you can see there, the left and right, and of course the back wheel as well. And in this case you've got 2 cannons and a pitot tube that fits onto the wing as well. So I'm going to put it all back together and then we'll talk through. So here she is in all her glory. Obviously I've never seen a Focke-Wulf in these colours before, but it sort of makes sense with the sort of sandy, sort of arid Russian battlegrounds. But this is a really hard to find model, but like most Dragons, it's a bit of a pain in the backside to fit. So the bits that are really good on it, you've got the open and closed canopy, but unfortunately you don't get a pilot figure. But like I said before, I think with the Corsair, you can get some Hobby Master figures, or you can remove them from damaged Corgi ones and put them in there, and that would be quite effective, especially if you've got it in flight mode. But I like my aircraft wheels down, so you know, it's not a big deal for me. But putting it together is a bit of a pain in the backside. The rear wheel fits nice and snug, but the rest of it is pretty bad, with the exception of the propeller. Propeller's fine. So you've got the 2 cannons either side of the wings, so you can see them. They're going to need either a bit of glue in there to hold them in, or a little bit of tiny little bit of blue tack on the end of it, and of course the pitot tube, which needed a little bit trimmed off the end because it was too big to fit into the hole. But then this had never been out of the box. It must be close to 20 years old, this model. The undercarriage is a bit of an improvement on the Corgi. It comes with like a block pin which you can put in there, and it does stand relatively firm. Just make sure you fit it correctly to start with. But it's a great looking model. The Focke-Wulf is probably an underutilised aircraft. The other thing I would add as well, for real aficionados, we won't see a swastika on the back there. I'm sure you could put a decal on if you wanted to, but this was made for a market, including the German market, where of course it's banned. So by not putting a swastika on, it allows obviously the manufacturer to sell their goods in Germany. One thing I've noticed that Oxford have just recently done with their new, I think it was an Arado, they did 2 types. They did one with the swastika and one without, so one they could sell in mainland Europe, where the ban is obviously still official. But no, it's a great model, the Focke-Wulf. I'll pick this up and hopefully it doesn't all fall to bits. On the bottom there's the fuel tank. That wasn't particularly great to fit. The holes don't line up, so the second one isn't quite in. But if I can try and zoom in on the actual undercarriage, it does make this slot into there, but I didn't want to force it, because obviously if you break a peg you end up damaging the model and significantly reducing its value. But it is a quality little model. This is one that I've been looking to get, and there goes the undercarriage as I talked to you about. I'm now going to put it in the up mode for you, so you can get some views of what it's like in the up mode as well. Here we go. Here she is set up in a flight mode. As you can see, the stand is very ordinary, and I've had an absolute nightmare trying to get pictures of it on its undercarriage kept falling out. So it is one of them things where you probably use a little bit of blue tack or Elmer's glue, I think the United States call it, which is obviously the removable glue you can pick back out. But it does look mighty fine on its stand as well. Like I said, the colours, like I said, it's not something I've researched as such, but very, very different to anything I've got in the collection. Of course, the Flying Heritage collection, you had a green and brown one, which is a magnificent looking scheme, very similar to the Flying Mule example released by Corgi as well. But this is, I think it's a little bit better than the Corgi, purely based on the opening and shutting canopy, which is very stiff. But then I guess it would be expected if it's been left in there for 20 years. There's some really tiny stenciling on it as well. I don't know if you can quite see there, which is really, really impressive, including on the up and down undercarriage, which is a great little touch. It is a shame it doesn't have a swastika, but like I said, anybody who's a keen modeler can fix that relatively quickly. But that's it from me tonight. Very, very quick review. I'm going to review all three of Corgi's new Spitfires, including obviously JJ, the Colin Gray one, and of course the TR9 Grey Nurse. I'll do that later this week. I've also got the Night Fighting Defiant to look at, which has come from Andy Beck at Lofty's Models, and I've got Night Fight, the US Army Air Force Dakota from Membry, which hopefully will be flying this summer, and that's arriving in the next sort of couple of weeks as well, so another one to have a look at. Don't forget to join us on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'll be joined by Michael Lowe, Sam and Dan, and we're doing Wings Monthly Part 2, a bit of a World War I special. We're going to talk through some of our top 5 wants, as we all are collectors, and probably get a little bit of chat about Masters in the Air as well, if anybody's been watching it. Look, that's it from me tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the little video review. I'll get some pictures up as well over the coming days, and hopefully see you Wednesday evening. Take care.